Good evening. Welcome to my garden, Lilac Hill. It is a gorgeous summer evening, about just after 8 o'clock. Sun is just setting, and I thought it would be a good time to share the corner driveway area. This area has gone through a big transformation since spring. Spring was when I showed all of the lilacs, and now the lilacs are leafed out. Blooms have finished, and now it's time for the daisies. I have a number of daisies through the garden. I've got the little Shasta daisy here that I got from my cousin Sherry back when I first started gardening. So that little daisy goes back to the late 90s. And there's some other really interesting ones in here. There is Real Dream. That's this one. So pretty and so easy. They're just a plant that I can grow and go, as long as they're watered, the daisies will be okay. And then there's Sunny Side Up in here as well, and it's the white with the yellow center. So I'm thinking this is Sunny Side Up. And then we'll go up here and we'll have a nice look at Shaggy. That Shaggy Shasta also goes back to the late 90s. From Edie Hollis from a plant sale, and I have used this Shaggy Shasta throughout the garden, and whatever plant is in bloom, that's my favorite plant. So right now my favorite plant in the whole garden is Shaggy Shasta. I just think it's amazing. It's a nice plant. I've shared it. It's gone to plant sales. This is an upright St. John's wort. It's part of the Magical Universe series. It didn't look like it was going to make it through the winter, but it did. It came back. And I've got the little evergreens for winter structure. And this plant is called Platinum Blonde. I have had this Platinum Blonde lavender probably as long as I've had Sherry's Shasta, and also as long as Edie Hollis's Shaggy Shasta. And I think I'm going to try to do some cuttings of this. This is just such a good plant. It's just big, it's sprawling, it's unruly, but the bees like it. It's got bee activity on it. It's a really nice lavender, got a bit of variegation, and I just give it a light prune at the end of season, and it always seems to come back. The yarrow paprika is finishing. It was really nice this spring. And now we're going into a bit of sun, so hopefully the video doesn't look too bad. I was trying to wait till the sun was setting. It's not gonna... Oh, there's a Hydrangeas. Another one of my little upright St. John's worts. The other plant that's doing really well is the crocosmia. So I'll show that, but first we'll look at the lavenders and listen to the bees. This lavender and its partner over here, which is a little bit smaller, came from the dump. When we dump our yard waste, I got some lavenders from the dump. And they've come through winter again. This is, I think, their 4th year. But look at this crocosmia. Isn't that a pretty plant? And the red looks nice against. This is the Lucifer. It does have a bit of deer damage. The deer seem to enjoy biting off the stalk and then dropping the stalk on the ground. So I thought that was rather nice of them. But all in all, really good plant. And the last thing I want to share is this Shasta is a 100% volunteer. This grew by itself. I didn't plant it. And look at all the babies I have to share around other parts of the garden. It's a really, really good plant. Okay, let's go look at the hydrangeas. No, you're okay. Terry's cleaning up after a hard day of work on his tool shed. All right, let's go look at these hydrangeas. These are cuttings from my Aunt Sandra's garden that I took to my Maple Ridge garden. I took cuttings, took to Chilliwack. I took cuttings and brought them here. So these are cuttings of cuttings. I think of cuttings. But with the heat, the things are starting to go over quite quickly, which is kind of disappointing. I am planning a little, I'm going to try and build my own fence along here next year. Terry bought me a chop saw in the spring, a small one, just to practice with, to make garden structures. And I'm going to do a fence along here to support the hydrangeas so they don't spill over quite so much, but it kind of looks nice. That's the entrance to the basement. Here's the gorgeous lace cap. Another plant that you just, I don't have to worry about it. It gets the afternoon shade, morning sun. This is the east side of the garden, which would be the morning sun and the what was called the spring bed, where I had all the daffodils. The big Daphne's finished, but looking really healthy. And then also having a bit of deer damage. But in bud is the Blushing Bride Rose of Sharon. So this is going to bloom in a nice shades of pink very soon. And I've got one gladioli bulb in here, but I will add more with time. They were just from the dollar store. Really nice. Okay, let's go. We're going to have a look now at the main garden bed. There's my little porch where I come out. I mainly water with the watering can dunking the watering can into the rain barrel. Tried to save water. I filmed this area on my last video, the wildflower full sun round bed, but it changes every day. It's even different from when I filmed. I've got balmy. This is the bee balm, balmy. Can't really see because of the leaves of the poppy, but it's pink in there. Get that out of there. There's balmy. The the globe artichoke improved with a little bit of soap and water. So I don't think that did any harm to the garden, but I don't normally use any chemicals. And I had been spraying it with water, but I just didn't, the bugs weren't coming off. So I won't spend too much time in here. If you're interested in the plants that are in this area, you can always look at the video I did called Morning Walkabout with Birdsong. But again, everything's changing. And Terry's tool shed, oh my goodness, he worked so hard on this today. We went from the wrap paper to the building having its siding on, and he even went ahead and painted it. So wow, that's going to be nice. It's going to have barn doors, and we're going to hang up all our tools in there. So this is the outside of the hosta enclosure. The hosta enclosure was built specifically to keep the deer out and to protect the plants that the deer eat, that we know the deer eat or potentially could eat. And a hydrangea that I brought in a big trug. And I've got the fall chrysanthemums along here. And of course the big tree peony from spring. And look at this bee balm. This came from my cousin, a cutting of from her cottage garden. And I did do a video on her cottage garden as well about 2 weeks ago now. And that just looks so good. And the scent on that is so nice. It's a really good plant. This is an interesting plant. This is a balsam. I got this for free from the plant sale, but I have to keep a really good eye on it because it's considered an invasive species. And I was reading up on it, and it has these touch-me-not seed pods that spray. So unfortunately, balsam will be on the chopping block at the end of season, but it's such a nice plant. It's got good stalk, it's healthy, but it isn't something that a person would want for the garden if it's going to not be a good plant for the garden. Let's just have a look in here. Hosta enclosure. The nice star in this is the big hydrangea. The mop head is back here. This is from a gardener named Diana Wood in our town. And I keep it really well watered. This hosta enclosure is also part shade. and it's a nice relief to have plants away from the really hot afternoon sun. There's going to be some changes in here. The Nancy Evans rhododendron is going to come out, and the macadamia is going to go in the ground so that it can get out of its pot. Clematises are finishing. A couple blooms still. But this is a nice plant too. This is my Japanese bottle brush. Make sure that's in focus. And I keep it in a pot. I don't trust the deer. And this is Whirling Butterflies Gaura. Again, I don't trust the deer. Little heuchera. And I planted my carrots in here that I grew from carrot tops. Okay, let's have a look out here again. Let's carry on. And now we'll walk over. Oh, this area here got a clean up. I took out the tall, fall asters. They were so mangy and rangy and yucky that they needed to come out. And now I've got free space for some annuals next year. The whole point of the glass house is to grow the annuals on from seedlings. I have no problem starting the annuals, but they don't seem to transfer well, or they get that damping off. This is another bee balm, and this is Violet Queen. This came from a place called Darts Hill many years ago. It is what they call the native bee balm. It's a purple or a mauve. And another really old plant came from the first garden to the second garden, now to the third garden. Okay, let's have a look over here. And there's the courtyard patio. It was hot today. We had a hot day. My little summer house is slowly getting cleaned out. It has a lot of storage in there. But this is just a nice looking area. The bed's been expanded. I started moving some plants just because I needed the space for other things that were in bins the plants that I moved were in front of the glass house and needed to come out. One of my favorite plants has to be the Veronicastrum though. Look at this Culver's root. Totally loaded in bees. Culver's root is a new plant to my garden, but I think it is so nice. I do stake it, but look at the bees. Isn't it great to see? And if I get too close, when I was putting another wrap on with string, they got a little bit aggressive. Stay away from my food. And I just added this Hydrangeas. It was sitting in a bucket because it was squished up against the glass house. And this one is the Star of Billion. And it is the white Hydrangeas. And then the darker one, which is over here, it's darker ones in here somewhere. Oh, there's the darker one. And that's another one of the star Hydrangeas. Oh, and look at Midnight Masquerade, or is it Moonlit? Moonlit Masquerade, Daylily, gone tomorrow. Another upright St. John's wort. So this bed is just pretty. I planted a coneflower, probably the ruby star, in here. And then just look at the activity of the bees as the sun starts to set. The Culver's root and daisies. This is probably another one of the Real Dream cutting. She's a little trussed up because we had to tie her up so Terry could get in and out of here to do his work on the building. And the building's coming along, lots of painting done. I've got lots to do still, but it's really going to be fun to grow the seedlings on. I'm going to try to do a lot from seed next year, so see how far that goes. And a nice contrast is the perennial sunflower. Shaggy Shasta's in here. This is Geranium Roseanne. I watch a lot of YouTube from Europe, And geranium roseanne seems to be in a lot of gardens. So I feel that connection to a place that's far away, but they grow that plant in a lot of gardens in Europe. There is the beautiful Hush Little Baby Daylily. Just her one bloom today has gone over and that one opened, but that's the nature of daylilies. And then this is a plant that got moved, and I'm going to keep my eye on it. This was squished in with the peonies, and it is a little gem. I think it says Borisai, and I know Koi is out front, but he has a nice little orange flower. So we'll just see. It's in really good soil. I amend with a lot of my eggshells and my coffee grounds, things like that, to make nice soil for the plants. I'm always amending the soil. Every time I dig a hole, I put amendment in, because this is not what good quality soil. And by amending and adding the food for the soil, it feeds the plants. And this delphinium is dark blue, dark bee. And then there's a little guardian white delphinium back there. Another fall chrysanthemum from Aunt Sandra. Just really a nice looking evening. There's the choicea. It really suffered in a winter, but it seems to have come back. That pot weighs about 200 pounds, so it's not going anywhere. All my ceramic pots I brought with me. Robin's already come and had her bath in the nice water. We'll come around on this side and we'll have a look from this view. This helenium is a tiny bit invasive. I find I have it coming up in a lot of places. So it got a little bit trussed up as well. I probably will have to go back and fix that, but it was just falling all over the place. Spider warts in here. The box hedge is done really well. Potentilla. And then look at this big echinops. And the bees are just in line to get to this plant. It is a bee magnet. And there's the other side of the glass house on this beautiful evening in the garden. I think I covered everything for tonight. I think that's going to be a wrap. So thank you for watching as the sun sets over the hills.